Good morning. Oh, why we all
Good
smile off
morning.
to the side? Good morning. I don't know what happened over there. Like we all little on the side. Good morning. How are you?
All right, and yourself?
I'm good. I thought I told you about the orientation thing because you can now simultaneously send either a portrait, landscape, or portrait outputs.
Right. I didn't expect it to be like that, but I knew you. I knew we had talked about it, but I didn't think that it would. I don't know what I thought, but I was like,
Well,
"What?"
I was surprised too because when I went in, I had to choose, and I'm like, well,
Right.
y'all didn't make me choose before. Y'all just said it was
Right.
whatever. So yeah, that's probably what the. Oh Lord, every week is a surprise. I feel like it's Christmas every day, every week when I come on here. What kind of new things are they gonna provide for me today? The one I think I ain't gonna even say because I don't even remember the name of it. It was another. They had a competitor that was running neck and neck with each other doing the same type of thing,
Really?
and I don't even hear the other one's name anymore. I'm sure it's still out there, but they were always trying to up each other every time. And well, I swear somebody at StreamYard got a fire because they doing the
They not
thing. Every
playing. Yes.
they not playing. I
At
feel like my
all.
my my coins are well deserved. All of the PRNT sippers, your money is going it's well deserved. It's going
Because
right to the
they,
platform
because they
because
are
it's
not playing.
fabulous. No,
Yes.
not at all. I love it. I love it. All right, all right. Let's see what's going on here. Well, welcome everybody. Well, oh, I didn't ask you. How was your week?
It was fine. It went by fast, and look, it gets us closer to Thanksgiving. How about yours?
Okay, I don't know about to get us closer to Thanksgiving because everybody keep looking at me like, so what you doing? Did I say I was doing anything? My daughter hit me with my job giving away to free turkeys. You gonna cook this?
Oh,
Said, really? Should I get the turkey or not?
all
I was like,
right.
oh, y'all killing me. I guess I'll whip up a small morsel of something for the people, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that's nice that jobs are still giving away turkeys.
Oh yeah, she's down there at the with the Hard Rock. So yeah, I said get the getting because I want to travel. So Hard Rock, here we come. And we ain't talking just regular. I want exotic spots. Y'all got some places I need to see. All right, all right. But yeah, other than that, it was a good week. Oh, the CPT symposium was everything I needed it to be, even though I was so
Really?
busy. I hated that I was so busy and my attention was pulled. Um, I absolutely love when they have so the way it's usually set up, you have they break it down by all of the topics in CPT. So everybody who is an expert in those areas talk about the new codes that will be in your 2026 CPT book and why what the changes represent da 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 da. And then after so many segments, they have a Q&A. So you can send questions beforehand to ask them, or you can, as they're talking or whatever, send questions while the presentation is going on. So it's cool. I love it. Then they have a Q&A. Well, they had some new sessions where they talked about one of them, I think they did that presentation before. I could have swore I saw it, but then they had a sequel or an addition. So they talked about all of the resources within the CPT family. Um, which one of those books I had never seen before. I said, well, what is that? I said, wait a minute, y'all, AMA, what y'all doing? So I said, I'm gonna have to investigate. But my favorite is they do the clinical medical directors Q&A. And so they have all of them from all of the Macs there to they have a representative from all of the Macs there to answer those questions. And this one lady, when I tell you she didn't show her face, she had her picture or whatever, she looked like us. She didn't come to play. no, we will not accept da 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 da. You need the exact documentation. But so they were asking about macros and dot phrases and all of the things related to the attestation that providers have to have for residents. And for years, they have allowed like this little simple phrase that was like, I was here for the key portions, da 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 da. And I know I used to always remind the physicians, you got to be specific. It got to look like you were here. And so I will tell them, especially back when E&M had the 3 components that made up the level of service, pick the exam, because you got to see the body to be able to that clearly identifies your presence in that encounter if you talk about something that was related to the exam. So pick an exam section to say you participated, da 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 da. That way it makes it specific to this patient, this encounter, this resident. It shows that you were there. Well, I guess folks still been using that little generic phrase. And she was like, absolutely not. This does not suffice and does not show. And you have to be specific. And she rolled out, I wrote my notes over on the other side, on the other desk, wrote out all of the stuff that she said that should be in your thing and be specific. And I said, so much so, it was fabulous. So much so, one of the other physicians was like, and I talked to him before, long story. We'll talk about that later. But he was like, you did an excellent job in explaining that, because we are seeing that more and more frequently, and we don't understand why they feel like they can just hit a dot phrase, sign off of it, and that's good. You did an excellent job, and she did an excellent job. But I love that segment because, it really comes to hearing for the providers, hearing from their peers on what the expectations are as it relates to their documentation for some of these things. So it was good. It was fabulous. I feel like that was a church announcement though. And I may not need one.
But we also know why they're seeing that more often, because now with EHRs and with everything being automated, everything is a copy and paste now.
And I think they're positioning themselves somewhat for the onslaught of the AI documentation that may come down the pike, sooner rather than later. So
right,
yeah, because they will easily pick that up and flag that and use it over and over and over again. Craziness. Okay. Well, welcome everybody to our Saturday morning tea. Here we brew up the hottest topics in healthcare. We discuss health information, news, education, the week, dot phrases, AI, what else we talk about? All of the things, including certification tips, entrepreneurship, and really the revenue cycle at large. So as you come in, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or like button. Let's keep us in the rotation, in the algorithm. I'm Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, the founder and senior education director of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, where coding education is key. And PRN is a healthcare compliance consultancy located in Cincinnati, Ohio, that specializes in revenue cycle and regulatory compliance in education. And let me ask, do you know what it takes to be a certified marketable medical coder? Do you? Well, before I introduce my co-host, let me share with you information on a free email course, free 99 email course on the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start and scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
If you are interested in getting more information about the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder, check the video description for the link. Joining me today is my partner in success. Oh, I love that phrase. My co-host, Mr. Jesse, the registered trademark. Put some respect on his name. the coding nurse. Sir, introduce yourself and tell the folks all about you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jesse. I live in Philadelphia. I've been in healthcare for a long, long time. In 2014, I left the bedside and moved into risk adjustment auditing. During the pandemic in 2020, I created a company called the Coding Nurse LLC, where I help nurses and other people in healthcare with a clinical background transition into the wonderful world of HIM.
Yes. And how is that working? Long time.
Yeah, it's coming along. Like this week, my class is winding down.
Mhm.
We did pregnancy
Mm.
Thursday, so that's a doozy.
Mhm. You're like, oh, it's right. Oh, codes everywhere. Oh. Yes, they be like, oh yeah.
It's a lot of codes in those scenarios.
It's a doozy. And you be like, all of this, all of everything. Yeah, this is a little lady. I go on this prayer call every morning and she talk about everybody, everywhere, everything, everywhere, all of the things. It's a doozy. All right. Cool. Well, before we jump in, let me remind you all that you can join in as well and add to the conversation. So don't be shy. Your opinion matters and is welcomed here. So use the chat. If you have a question for us, please type Q first so that we know it is for us and we don't miss the question. I guess I need to open up my comments so I can see what's going on, don't I? For those who are just joining us or watching the replay, today we are talking sepsis guidelines plus payer reality equals revenue risk 2026 out the gate. Out the gate. But first, let's get into our church announcements, shall we? Can we kick it? Hey. Like I just want to march on in. In that middle aisle. Yes. Yes. Okay. Turn down. Okay. So today's church announcement that I have. I'm sure you saw this whole thing blow up. What is a professional degree?
God.
What is a professional degree? And my nursing friends are just everywhere, in their feelings, fighting, clawing, scrap. And I was like, before I read some stuff, I was like, did the AMA do this? That was my first thought.
Right.
Are they trying to get y'all? They about to quash all y'all stuff. Like, we couldn't get you this way, but we got you this way. But after reading it, I was like, okay, maybe this is not an AMA thing. Y'all fall back. So what we're talking about is that I'm reading an article that I saw. I saw several of them, but this one is from Katie Perez from USA Today. And she says, nursing is no longer considered a, quote, professional degree. What changed? And so I'm going through and I'm like, well, what is happening? I heard about, what was being bubbled up in the Department of Education, because y'all know they done dismantled that and trying to piece it back together, I guess, Lego by Lego. I won't even say brick by brick, but Lego by Lego. And so this is all coming primarily as a result of some things that had happened at the Department of Education. So basically what has happened is that they are considering certain graduate degrees as, quote, professional degrees. And back when this became a federal law in 1965, they defined a professional degree as one that signifies both completion of the academic requirements for beginning practice in a given profession and a level of professional skill beyond what was normally required for a bachelor's degree. And then they also gave a list of 10 professions that were examples: pharmacy, dentistry, veterinary medicine, chiropractic, law. What's an LLB? I don't know what that is. I've never seen that before. Medicine, optometry, osteopathic medicine, podiatry, and theology were the 10 professions that were listed. The definition did state, even back then, that the list is not exhaustive and that professional licensure is also generally required. So what has happened is the Department of Education has taken it upon themselves to only consider those 10 professions as those graduate students in those 10 professions as having a professional degree, which has pissed all the nursing people off. And multiple graduate programs are left off of the quote professional degree list, including nursing. And nursing has been all over the place. Everywhere you turn, you see that they're talking about it. Am I not professional? Am I not professional? I've seen so many TikToks. Am I not professional when I do so and so and so? Am I not professional? Da 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 da. And I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, well, what? Of course y'all what? But then when I saw, I said, oh, okay, this is where they're going. Y'all know y'all professional. We all professional. But I get it. So the Office of Post-Secondary Education, the American Council on Education has sent a letter to the Office of Post-Secondary Education pushing for them to change the definition and adding more programs, which would include nursing, architecture, accounting, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech education, public health, social work, and more. So note, all of those professionals were not considered within those 10. And all of those professionals actually have graduate degrees. Well, this all is stemming from the efforts to fund these professional degrees with loans. And so what is happening is that those degrees that are considered professional degrees would fall in a bucket where they would be allowed to borrow up to $200,000 per lifetime. If you're not in that professional degree bucket, you would only be allowed to borrow up to $100,000 per lifetime for your professional degrees. And then they're also getting rid of the Grad Plus loan program, which also helps students to live while they were out pursuing these particular degrees. So it's the $200,000 still may not be enough in some of these professions, but the $100,000 is really gonna hurt. And the thing is, well, maybe you need to consider, do you go to a public school versus a private school, or be mindful with the dollars or whatever. It's a whole hot mess, but that was the controversy. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Mr. Jesse, did you have anything to add? Because I'm on and on.
I just don't understand. Well, I would just like to know, what is the end game? Like, what is it really all about? Because there is a a bigger purpose behind it. And it's not just they no longer want to consider those occupations professions anymore. There's a bigger reason behind it. I just want to know like what that is, because nothing else really matters. Because if they have an agenda, what's the agenda?
What's the agenda?
And that's what you have to address.
Yeah, that's why I said when I saw it immediately, I thought AMA. Not realizing that there are other professions that got caught in this sting as well. But immediately I thought, oh, this is their way to get back at the nursing and physician assistants and all of the people. So more to come on that, because they are sure enough buzzing. Mr.
Yeah,
Jesse,
they are.
It's crazy. Do you have any church announcements?
No.
No? Okay.
Happy
Are you
Thanksgiving.
sure? Oh, not with you today. All right. Well, let the tea spilling begin. Here we go. Do I still hear music? I thought I turned it off. I did. Okay.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, I don't hear it. For those who are well, welcome back, or welcome if you're just saddling up to the Saturday morning tea, where we serve up the real talk our profession needs. I'm Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, with my partner in success, the coding nurse. And hopefully you have your hot brew available right next to you, like me. Ooh, because we got some stuff to talk about today. So today's topic, sepsis guidelines plus payer reality equals revenue risk 2026. And when I say this came out the gate, it's coming out the gate because this is going into effect like New Year's Day. While we were enjoying Black Eyed Peas, this stuff is going into effect. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be brewing up this conversation with you today. You know, I always say that understanding healthcare compliance could all be so simple if we just connect the right dots at the right time. Well, today we're doing exactly that with sepsis coding. And the dots we're connecting are going to hopefully save your organization some serious coin. But before you settle in with that perfect cup of whatever type of tea you drink, but you could be drinking anything, but for me, tea, I need to share something that just landed on my desk that changes everything about sepsis coding moving forward. We've got two critical pieces of information that, when you see how they fit together, will completely transform how you approach sepsis documentation and coding. So again, grab your favorite mug, get comfortable, and let's dive into what could be the most important sepsis conversation you'll have this year. Now, y'all know I've been in this industry for over 30 years. I want to say 33 years. And I've seen a lot. I don't even look like that, do I? But I've seen a lot of changes. I was just a babe. But what we're discussing today isn't just another guideline update. It's a perfect storm of coding requirements meeting real world payer enforcement that's happening right now. So we're going to start with the fiscal year 2026 ICD-10 CM sepsis guidelines. And I mean, really understand them. You know, we have the expert on sepsis himself here, Mr. Jesse, the coding nurse. And so he can definitely chime in and assist in the conversation. Then I'm going to show you exactly how Horizon, Blue Cross, and Blue Shield plans to use these guidelines to validate your sepsis claim starting January 1. You don't even get a reprieve, a break, nothing. That's just weeks away, people. This affects every single person coding for commercial insurance, Medicare Advantage plans, state employee health programs. And honestly, once you see what Horizon is doing, you'll understand that this is just the beginning of industry-wide changes. I think they are leading the charge for others to just fall all in line. So let's start with what the official guidelines tell us, because honestly, it could all be so simple if we just follow the roadmap that is given to us. So the Sepsis Foundation, the guidelines are crystal clear for a sepsis diagnosis. And I've attached to the description the actual 2026 official coding guidelines for you to check out. For a sepsis diagnosis, we need an appropriate code for the underlying systemic infection. If the type of infection or causal organism isn't specified, we use A41.9, sepsis unspecified organism. Now, here's where it gets interesting. A code from subcategory R65.2, severe sepsis, should not be assigned unless severe sepsis or associated acute organ dysfunction is documented. As we've stated several times, all we do is predicated upon the documentation of others. So the documentation that we get has to be clear in order for us to make sure that we're passing on the appropriate diagnoses for the appropriate amount of coins that we are supposed to get and keep. Keep that in mind to my providers out there. Okay. The blood culture reality. Here's something that I want everyone to also remember. Negative or inconclusive blood cultures do not preclude a diagnosis of sepsis in patients with clinical evidence. But, and this is important, the provider should be queried. We're not mind readers, folks. We got to ask. We might see stuff and we be like, oh yeah, we know what should be there. And we kind of sort of, especially if we've been coding for the same providers for a while, kind of know what their thought process is, but we can't save them. We can't put on the cape and be like, let me just go ahead because I know. No, they have to document that stuff. That stuff has to be, because after we could be gone, they could be gone. And those records get pulled. They want to see, well, what was documented? They're not going to call you and ask, well, what did you think about this? And what was your thought? No, your thought process has to be documented. And that's why it's really, really important when we provide education to our providers that they understand that their documentation will live on long past them. Also, the Eurosepsis challenge. This one right here, the term Eurosepsis is non-specific. It has no default code in the alphabetic index. When providers use this term, they must be queried for clarification. No exceptions. Again, it could all be so simple if providers just documented what they actually mean. I know you have this documentation burden. I know, it's a whole lot, but that's what you get the big bucks for, right? Right. Okay. Severe sepsis requirements. Now, severe sepsis coding requires a minimum of 2 codes. First, we need the underlying systemic infection code, followed by a code from subcategory R65.2. Again, if the causal organism isn't documented, we can't play over there in that area. We use A41.9. Then we add additional codes for any associated acute organ dysfunction. The critical connection, and this is where many organizations miss the boat. If a patient has sepsis and acute organ dysfunction, that dysfunction must be associated with the sepsis to assign the severe sepsis code. If documentation isn't clear whether the dysfunction relates to sepsis or another condition, what you're supposed to do? Query the physician or the provider, right? Also, sequencing matters. When severe sepsis is present on admission and meets the definition of principal diagnosis, the underlying systemic infection should be assigned as principal, followed by the R65.2 code. Remember, R65.2 should not be a principal diagnosis. Post-procedural complexity. For sepsis following post-procedural infections, we have specific pathways. For surgical site infections, we start with the T groups of code, T81.41 through T81.43 codes. Then you could possibly add T81.44 for sepsis following the procedure. If severe sepsis is present, we also add R65.2 with organ dysfunction codes. Again, you add it all. It all makes sense. Mr. Jesse, I didn't know if you want to talk about the difference between the new versus the old sepsis definitions or diagnosis, or not.
No, I just really think that what people should do, and part of the whole sepsis issue is a lot of people don't have, a lot of institutions aren't clear about what protocol to use.
Mhm.
And I think that they need to, I think it starts right there, because a lot of denials come from a mismatch of sepsis protocols, because a lot of people, because and what I was thinking about is, I just want to know, well, we already know because they would have said it by now, but CMS uses an outdated criteria that hardly anybody else uses. But I just wonder, now that there's this whole resurgence or rejuvenation happening at CMS, will they update their sepsis protocol? Because a lot of people fall back on that. Then when it hits the payer, it doesn't get paid because there's a disconnect in the requirements. And I think that people in these facilities should push for clearer guidance, because I think that ultimately you would want to go by what your payer is saying. Now,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
if you're go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, if you're submitting directly to Medicare and they're using one version, then fine. But if you know that you are sending this to Cigna, Horizon, or whomever, find out what their protocol is, because
Absolutely.
it's in your contract.
Absolutely. And all of those are contract specific. What they're looking for, what documentation they need, all the things they need to see, it's in the contract. It's in that contractual obligation that they have with you. Make sure that your people who are submitting those bills are well aware of what that contract says, so that they can send those claims clean the first time out the gate. Yes. Go ahead.
Because I know, like, the whole contract thing is it could, like we always say, it could all be so simple. Because, like, whenever I have to do a sepsis claim, like after I verify the person's name and all that, the next step I have to do is I have to go and look up that payer to find out what sepsis protocol they're using, because they all don't use the same. But you should want to know what, because it does it, if you're submitting apples and these people want oranges, it's not going to be a good look for your bottom line.
And clearly, as folks are struggling with those bottom lines, you would think that information would be trickled down to all those that need to know. Even our billers, they don't necessarily are privy to the documentation and the codes, or the guidelines that we use based on the codes, but they should almost always be privy to the information on those payers in that contract that they need to know, so that they can make sure that things are clear when they are submitted to those particular payers.
These poor billers, I feel for them, because they don't have time to do what they really should be doing, because these people are so focused on getting these claims out that it's creating a problem.
And imagine, and I guess, and I'm thinking about like the AI swirl in that process. I mean, I guess you can build the information, payer specific information, but would they? And how quick would they be to amending them as payer information and payer changes occur? Because you think CMS changes on a dime. Imagine hundreds, depending on who all you are contracted with, of changes happening on a dime. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. So you're right.
And
Whalers are put in a pickle of a predicament.
and the student I have now, like, she's in a leadership position. She's a nurse. She's in a leadership position, and she talked all the time ever since the class started. And when we got to sepsis, she was saying that their institution gets hammered on they have a lot of sepsis denials, and I just don't understand. Like, it's not like these payers don't make it clear what they're looking for. I'm just not understanding. I'm really not. And you have people, like, I see it all the time, like, it's just the criteria is there. Just I don't know what the answer is. And because clearly these hospitals are trying to keep as much as they can, and these commercial payers are trying to pay as least the amount as they can. So I don't know where the happy medium is, but they haven't found it yet.
And you got these auditors on out here waiting to pounce on either side. Waiting. All right, well, here's where theory meets reality. And honestly, this is exactly why I love what we do here on our Saturday morning tea. We don't just talk about guidelines, we show you how they're being enforced in the real world. So the Horizon announcement was from Horizon Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and it just dropped a policy that changes everything. Again, effective January 1, they're implementing new sepsis validation criteria for post-service claim reviews. They're specifically using sepsis 3 definitions. And y'all, this is targeted like a laser beam. So here's part of the problem. You have the SIRS problem. Horizon states explicitly, and I'm quoting here, over-diagnosing or misclassifying patients as septic without an infection, but with 2 or more systemic inflammatory response syndrome criteria can lead to overutilization of antibiotics and increased risk of opportunistic infections, end quote. And that's what SIRS stands for, systemic inflammatory response syndrome. Translation: they're coming for cases where you've coded sepsis based on SIRS criteria without clear infection evidence, period. That isn't theoretical. This is happening January 1. This policy applies to commercial fully insured plans, Braven health plans, and administrative services only employer groups, including state employee health benefit programs. That's a massive coverage area for this group. But while they may be in that first round, they're not going to be the only. Other folks will follow. Other plans and payers will follow. So getting a jump on what's happening is crucial for you and the various payers that you may be contracted with. So the Sepsis 3 focus. Again, Horizon's move to Sepsis 3 criteria specifically because they want to ensure members with infections who are at risk for adverse outcomes are evaluated using, quote, more accurate and updated criteria, end quote. They're essentially saying that old SEERS-based approach isn't good enough anymore. And here's what keeps me optimistic. I like to say that way. It really could all be so simple if we align our documentation practices with both the coding guidelines and these emerging payer validation criteria. When we do that, we protect revenue and improve patient care documentation. Now, let's dive into our 5 strategic talking points, because understanding these connections is going to transform how you approach sepsis coding. So, number 1, guidelines to reality pipeline. You know what's beautiful about this situation? the ICD-10 CM sepsis requirements directly align with Horizon's validation approach. Basically, they're not asking for anything that contradicts the guidelines. They're just enforcing the clinical validity behind those codes. So again, it could all be so simple if we document infection sources clearly and stop relying solely on inflammatory markers. Talking point number 2, the SIRS trap. Here's where organizations get caught. Documenting systemic inflammatory response without clear infection evidence sets you up for automatic denials. SIRS criteria can indicate sepsis, but payers want to see the infection. Document fever, elevated white count, increased heart rate, all you want. If there's no clear infection source, that claim is vulnerable. Query strategy evolution. We need to move from compliance-focused queries to payer validation-focused queries. Instead of just asking, does the patient have sepsis? We need to ask, what is the infection source that's causing the patient's systemic response? See the difference? One gets you a code, the other gets you a defensible claim. Talking point 4, sequencing under scrutiny. Again, proper code sequencing becomes absolutely critical when facing post-service reviews. Payers are looking at whether your sequencing tells a coherent clinical story. When you sequence correctly, according to guidelines, you're not just compliant, you're creating a narrative that supports medical necessity. They can slap your claim down if it doesn't show medically necessary reasons why off the top. Talking point number 5, and this is the last one, multi-payer implications. Don't think this is just about Horizon. This policy is a blueprint for industry-wide changes. When one major commercial payer makes this move, others follow. So we need to prepare for this validation approach across all commercial plans. Mr. Jesse?
I just want to see what happens.
What is the outcome of all of this foolishness? Now,
Go
ahead.
The only thing I just wanted to add is, like, you know, how you start off every Saturday by talking about being marketable, because that's really the key. Okay, certified is okay, that's in the bag. But marketable is where it's at, because what a lot of people don't understand is there are so many positions in the back end, and denials have a whole cycle all to itself. Appeals has a cycle all to itself. And there are entire departments of people who this is all they do all day. And that those are possible opportunities for careers for a lot of people. And I don't think a lot of people are even aware that they exist, but they really, really are. Like these denials, these people who don't want to follow policy, like they create an entire sub industry within an industry.
And you have to come with the same skills and better, because now you are the person that has to show the support for and advocate for the claims or the documentation that you have. So it's kind of like a second pass at it, but making sure you got all your stuff has to be tight for them to say, oh yeah, we got this. Let's fight. And they can continue to fight all the way to the end. But if your stuff is shady and shaky, they're like, no, pay them their money.
Right, and some appeals are really, really valid, because what happens is when people request medical records, sometimes the person might have thought that they have scanned everything, but they didn't. They left out a key document that is needed. So sometimes all they need to do is, oh, well, wait a minute, no, this condition was valid here. Let me resubmit this note to show. Sometimes that's all it is, but sometimes it's just, it just doesn't follow the policy.
Now, I want to pose some questions that I hope you're asking yourself right now, because these are the conversations that need to happen in your organization sooner rather than later. How many of your current sepsis cases rely solely on SIRS criteria without documented infection source? This isn't just a coding question. This is a revenue protection question. Those cases are sitting ducks for Horizon's validation process and any other payers who may be following suit. Question 2, are your providers prepared for queries that specifically address Sepsis 3 versus your traditional SIRS-based criteria? We need to educate our clinical teams about what payers are looking for, not just what coding guidelines require. Question 3, what's your organization's strategy when clinical sepsis indicators exist but don't meet strict infection documentation requirements? This is where CDI becomes absolutely critical. We need protocols for these gray area cases. Question 4, how will you modify coding practices to satisfy both ICD-10-CM guidelines and emerging payer validation criteria? It's not enough to be coding compliant anymore. We need to be payer validation ready. And question 5, is your revenue cycle team tracking which commercial payers might adopt similar Sepsis 3 validation policies? Again, this trend monitoring needs to happen now, not after denials start rolling in. You know, what makes me excited about these challenges, because really, it could all be so simple when we get proactive instead of reactive. These questions aren't problems, they're opportunities to strengthen our processes before the pressure hits. So we even got a little cushion right now, even for those who are contracted with Horizon. You got a few weeks, if you will, to kind of do some digging and finding out, well, what does our stuff really look like? and we in the crosshairs right here. And for others who may not be contracted with them, but again are assessing whether or not other payers that we are contracted with may follow suit, we got a little longer time to say, okay, well, this is a very great possibility. What do we need to change? What do we need to focus on? Again, being proactive also shows some marketability within you and what you do for your organization. Okay. Before we wrap up, I want to give you 3 immediate action steps you can take this week, not next month, not next quarter, but this week. Audit your recent sepsis cases using both coding guidelines and Sepsis 3 criteria. I guess first and foremost, you may need to have a conversation with somebody so you can say, you know what, can I take some time to kind of look at these, or have somebody take the time to look at them, if not you. Identify patterns in the documentation that might be vulnerable to validation challenges. Again, this isn't about finding problems, it's about finding opportunities for improvement. Also, schedule provider education sessions that connect clinical documentation to both coding accuracy and payer approval. Show them how good documentation protects revenue and supports quality patient care. And then create tracking systems for all of Horizon covered lives and start monitoring for similar policies from other commercial payers, especially if you are directly impacted by Horizon. Knowledge is power, and early warning gives us time to adapt. Okay, Mr. Jesse.
I just want to know, when is CMS going to update their SIRS criteria, because that's what they still use.
They hold
and a lot of people still try to hold on to that like that's a defense, and it just doesn't work. It's going to be interesting,
because you're pretty much got feet in 2 areas, which makes it difficult, but your knowledge of, again, your payers and what cases should go to which payers and what those payers are expecting from you makes all the difference in the world.
Period.
But if you out here, let's just do this the same across the board. Oh my God. Good luck with you.
Everything's not cookie cutter. They try
Not
to
anymore.
make it. No.
Not anymore. And And maybe this is something that CMS is looking at and potentially striving to, because I did see another article that kind of laid out the differences between the old criteria and the new criteria, kind of leaning towards that. But again, until you get that full final stamp of boom, this is where we going. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Until that happens, look, read your contract and move accordingly.
Absolutely.
That's all you can do, because that's what they're going to go by. They're going to go by what they agreed to.
Mm-hmm.
And just find out what it is. Educate your providers, because everything relies on their documentation, period.
Mm-hmm.
We can't assume.
Not at all. Not at all.
They are the experts. I mean, I know I make fun of the AMA a lot, but the bottom line is providers run the show, and they have a level of knowledge and expertise that we don't. That's why they're providers.
Absolutely.
But all you got to do is just write down what it is you're doing. Like, let us know what you're thinking. So help us help you.
Absolutely. That's the
it.
thing. That's what we should be having. Help us help you across everything. Every email, every query, everything. Help us help you.
Because I see it on LinkedIn a lot. I told you about, this other doctor, like, they act like they want to act like some queries aren't necessary. Okay, well, but I would just want somebody to quantify, like, because what does that mean? Like, I need some examples, because if it's like, 5%, okay, yeah, okay, but that's not a burden,
right?
But if you're talking about 50%, no, and I know, having worked inpatient CDI, you have to send a lot of queries because the documentation just don't be documenting. And you got to clarify, because if you don't, it's going to come back. You might not ever see it, but it's going to come back to that facility in another department, and they're going to have to hash it out.
Mm-hmm.
When you could
go ahead.
When you could have just addressed it before it even went out.
Absolutely. And it could all be so simple, even after you provider have seen, especially if you're seeing the same type of cases over and over and over again, and you're getting the same queries over and over again. And prayerfully, somebody is providing you the education about these queries. Like, okay, I keep sending this to you because you're still not getting it, or you just refuse to get it. But you wouldn't get the queries, you wouldn't get the extra tap on the shoulder, you wouldn't get any of that if you would just follow the information and advice that is being provided to you during those educations. Again, they're trying to help you, one, to keep from talking to you about the same issue over and over again, and to help better your communication with documentation about the care, the quality of care that you're providing to your patient. It can all be so simple. Think about it that way.
I covered this hospital, and they had twin brothers who worked in the infectious disease department.
Oh, Lord.
And when I tell you, they diagnosed everybody they saw with sepsis.
Oh.
They were dubbed the sepsis twins. And when I tell you, I used to click on the infectious disease and Epic, I used to hate to see their name, because there was another infectious disease specialist. I used to love to see him because he wasn't so free. But them other two, I was guaranteed, like, especially if they didn't meet criteria, I was guaranteed to have to send a query to the attending for them to rule it in.
Like, who taught you this? Who?
Exactly.
Stop.
And then we had a hospice doctor. First of all, people got to stay in their lanes. Like, how are you hospice diagnosing somebody with an acute condition? Like, he'd be another one. He'd be giving people acute respiratory failure with hypoxia. Like, sir, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
And then because you document it, like we got to get it out the record. We got to go and like, look, is this a real? It was just too much.
And they don't even realize. They don't even realize what their documentation does on downstream. Like,
No,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
you cannot go to a baker to ask them to tell you how to cook ribs. Stay in your lane. Stick to the cupcakes.
Yes. and the cookies.
Yes.
All the sweet things. Yes. Stay away from savory. Keep it sweet.
Don't talk about a sauce.
Right. Unless it's a cream filled sauce or a fruit filling something that you stay over there. That's where you live, not over here with the robust, savory gravy thickener. No. No. All right. Well, I am grateful that you joined us for this deep dive today. This is exactly the kind of strategic thinking that keeps our Professional Reimbursement Network and Saturday Morning Tea community ahead of industry's changes instead of scrambling to catch up. Remember, sepsis coding doesn't have to be scary when we understand both the guidelines and how they're being enforced. As I always say, it could really all be so simple when we align our practices with both coding requirements and payer expectations. So again, this is Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, reminding you that we're stronger together in this coding community. Keep coding with integrity, keep learning, and keep being amazing. And Professional Reimbursement Network is here to support you every step of the way. So you can join our community at the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, where we provide ongoing education, compliance updates, and practical strategies for navigating this complex environment of healthcare revenue cycle. You see how all of the stuff that we talk about just funnels through the whole cycle. Again, you don't have to figure this out alone. Not at all. So, are you thirsty for fresh perspectives on the healthcare revenue cycle? Well, by becoming one of the PRNT sippers, you'll join a community of sharp minds who savor the complexities of the healthcare revenue cycle. Why sip alone when you can steep in knowledge together? Come, let's spill the tea on industry insights. And there's a lot of tea, as you see, every week that we have to spill. Here's what you can expect as a valued member of the Tea Sippers. Exclusive healthcare insights. Again, gain access to in-depth articles, webinars, and resources covering the latest healthcare trends, compliance updates, and revenue cycle best practices. Early access. Be the first to receive expert insights and guides, ensuring you stay ahead in the ever-evolving healthcare industry. Personalized support. Enjoy direct access to our team of experts for guidance on medical coding, compliance issues, and revenue cycle management. We even sprinkle in some entrepreneurial stuff as well. We're here to answer your questions and support your professional growth. And then my personal favorite, community connections. Join a private community of healthcare professionals where you can network, share experiences, and collaborate on finding solutions to common challenges. So by supporting us, you're not only advancing your healthcare knowledge and career, but also contributing to the success of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, a resource that empowers healthcare professionals like you to thrive in their roles, goals, and dreams. So thank you for considering becoming a member of the PRNT Sippers. For as little as $1 per month, you can join the community. Check out the link in the description of the video. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to helping you excel in the world of health information and healthcare revenue cycle. All right. For our Saturday Morning Tea family, we thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us. We know your time is precious at 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. And we don't take it lightly that you chose to spend it here with us. At the Saturday Morning Tea, we're all about building a community of savvy, informed, marketable health professionals. So again, like, share, subscribe, and comment, and let's grow this community together. Mr. Jesse, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, this is another timely discussion. Glad we had it. And stay tuned for more.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, tune in next week as we'll be discussing. Oh, wait. We will not be discussing. Next week is Thanksgiving. We won't be here. Just talk about that. No. Don't tune in next week. We'll be here soon after. Enjoy your families. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy all of the things that you are thankful and grateful for. Yeah, all of the things. Mr. Jesse, do you want to say anything about that?
Oh, listen, because the next Saturday, people will still be in their L-tryptophan high. They'll be still nodding, reaching for another piece of sweet potato pie.
Absolutely. And football. Absolutely. Okay. So this is Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, reminding you to stay educated, stay elevated, and that in healthcare, knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. Remember, be safe, be kind, and don't wish for it, work for it. Until next time, take care and have a great holiday.